announcements to the public, whether government officials or a teacher from the school who wants to make an announcement about something, or someone from the Chamber of Commerce. So these are not actionable items for the board, but I think since you are here, you bothered to be here, and they bothered to be here, it's only right that at least I give them the chance for you to hear what they have to say. So as we wait, if and when we will have a quorum, let me go ahead and ask folks in sequence to speak. So, Ms. Amigi, would you please get up to, can I give you the microphone? Introduce yourself and tell us what you'd like to talk.
Just stand here or
Wherever you want to stand.
hello? Yes.
You know, it's a school microphone.
Oh, yes. As I used to do. Hi, everyone. Thank you for giving me a chance to talk at the meeting. My name is Amigi, and I'm a math teacher in the middle school. Middle school teacher at QUORUM community. I'm also the academy lead teacher in our middle school. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I thought I would read this. Our school vision stated in our pilot plan is as follows. Our vision is to use resources of all stakeholders to provide the children of QUORUM Community School with a quality education by focusing on local and global issues and responsibilities that build the character of the whole child intellectually, physically, emotionally, and socially, with the goal of preparing them to become productive and responsible citizens in a democratic society. At our school, we offer many great programs to ensure our students' success in high school and beyond, and instill a great sense of pride and confidence in them to strive for their dreams. This year, with the help of our wonderful and hardworking Booster Club, we have created 3 new academies. Art Academy is kindergarten, the focus for it's Art Academy for kindergarten to 2nd grade. STEM Academy, which is a science and math emphasis, 3 to 5th, and Leadership Academy for middle school students. It's a school-wide leadership program, which I'm going to talk about, which community service is a requirement. It's a 5-hour for 6th graders. I don't want my fact. It's 5 hours per semester for 6th graders and 10 hours a semester for 7th and 8th graders. Since our academic program is very rigorous, we wanted to keep the hours manageable for our students. And I'll mention just a little bit about all of them. 6th grade leadership will participate in the school community service, the community hours, in which some will mentor the elementary students in math and English, and some will help facilitate our events in the school. And all 6th graders will have an elective called a Bridge to College and Career, in which they will engage in activities in leadership, exploring career options, and personal finances. 7th grader leadership will be community service in their neighborhood. I've already contacted some businesses with the help of Chamber of Commerce to find ideas and venues for our students to fulfill their community hours. But we need more help. PRCS is hoping that the council can refer us to businesses or organizations in our area so that our 7th graders can have more options and opportunities to help our community while learning compassion and leadership skills. 8th graders' options are open to what their interests are, but I would love to be able to compose a list of community services that can help and complete their hours. And at the end of the year, all of our students in middle school will participate in a culminating activity. 6th graders will do an essay with a iMovie or a poster. 7th graders will do a PowerPoint presentation, and the 8th graders will do a portfolio reflecting the year of their community service. I'm here tonight to ask any businesses or organizations in our community to support this volunteer effort. Together we can make Porter Ranch the community that it was. I thank you so much.
The lady behind you would like to speak to you.
Yes, I will. Good evening, board, and good evening, Porter Ranch. My name is Dusty Russell. I work for State Senator Fran Pavley. So I wanted to give you a few updates on some of the legislation that she's been pushing related to this community. First and foremost, the legislative calendar. The legislature reconvened on August 1st. Senator Pavley spent her month of break here in the community meeting with tons of constituents and attending all sorts of meetings. A couple important dates. This month is the last month for the legislature to pass bills, and at the end of this week is another important date. It's the last date for bills to pass out of fiscal committees, the appropriations committees. So that'll make more sense in a minute. But I wanted to give you an update on the progress of the well inspections. I pulled this from the Division of Oil, Gas, and Geothermal Resources, August 8th progress summary. So far, 70 of the wells have been taken out of operation. 113 of the 114 remaining wells have completed the first phase of testing, and only 17 wells have passed through all of the tests. There are 27 other wells that are still pending. From what we understand, SoCal Gas is looking to try and bring the facility back online probably sometime in September. Yes?
Most of the wells haven't passed. How could they do that?
They only need so many wells to function. So with the wells that have been taken offline, they're temporarily plugged, and they have a year to decide what they're going to do with them, either permanently take them offline for good, or make them go through the series of testing, the rigorous testing that is required to bring them back online. So they only need so many wells before they can actually come back online, and then they'll go.
What is that number? Because right now I guess they only have 17.
Yeah, they have 17 that have passed all the tests, and they have 27 that are pending. And all of this information is publicly available on the Division of Oil, Gas, and Geothermal Resources website. Every 2 weeks they update the status. So.
And 70 were taken out of operation. How long
Yes.
do they have? How long does Dogger have to give them to get it back up?
They have 1 year from when the legislation was passed, is my understanding, to decide what they're going to do. Yes.
And then if it doesn't pass after a year, that's it? Okay.
Yeah, after that they have to decide what they're going to do. They're either going to permanently close those individual wells or make them go through all the testing. I think it's like 8 tests in total that they would have to go through to bring them back online.
So the county supervisor has a lawsuit right now for safety valves. Does that help to keep it shut down? In terms of, very familiar with the Congress lawsuit now requiring the ceiling to require safety valves. So if you could take that back, see if that could help, because it would make sense that the safety valve should be there before they start injecting. Is there any power that the county, perhaps the county can, if you could take that back to the senator?
I'm happy to take that issue back. I have heard about it. I don't know what the state can do about that. And you would want to talk to Antonovich's office about that. So I don't.
We were at the
Yes.
QMD meeting last week, and Mr. Lefevre, who is the chief operator up there, admitted that under oath that there are at least 2 leaks a day up there.
Yes, we all heard it.
Reportable leaks?
Yeah.
Not reportable, he said 2 leaks a day.
Well, yeah, there's a difference between reportable
A
and
leak is a leak
non-reportable.
to us, though, when you add them up.
Understood. I'm
I
not here
know,
to debate that.
I know.
But I'm just saying that what the current law states is there is a threshold for reportable and non-reportable. I'm just stating the facts.
How many little ones?
Cumulative?
A report.
That has been a common criticism of the current law. but it's, you know, you're
Okay.
facing,
Any hopes in changing it?
yes?
Yeah, I've been wondering if, since a number of the wells that have leaked and a number of the leaks that have been discovered are wells that have been, closed, is there some additional way they are sealing off these wells?
As I mentioned, so basically how it works is there's all these tests that they have to go through before they can come online. And if you, I would encourage you folks to look at the publicly available information because it gives a wonderful breakdown. It's all color schemed and everything, really easy to read. And you can see, yeah, as you move down the tests, the individual tests, you see how many the reports were submitted, how many passed, and you see that number shrink as it goes toward the final test. So,
But that's to bring them online. I'm talking
Yes.
about the ones that were already supposedly closed that they found to be leaking.
there are existing regulations on how to properly abandon a well.
However,
So,
Can I interject for a minute? The gentleman is giving us a report about State Senator's activities. He has nothing to do with how wells are plugged. I know we all love to talk about this, but I'm going to let him off the hook.
thank you. I'm not an expert. I've just read a lot, and so I do my best to bring you the best information that I have out on hand.
thank you.
Something that you folks should be aware of is tomorrow the Division of Oil, Gas, and Geothermal Resources is holding a workshop in Woodland Hills at the Hilton. I brought some flyers over here, and I would encourage you all to show up. What this workshop is for, is while Senator Pavley is pursuing legislation for statewide improvements in the standards of how these facilities operate, at the same time, the regulating entity, Dogger, is also pursuing, they're writing the regulations. And so this is informed by Senator Pavley's legislation, but so they've put out these draft regulations and they're holding a workshop on that to hear from the community. So it is pretty technical, but I would encourage you folks to participate in that. To add on to that, SB 887, which is the legislation I just referred to, the updating of the standards across the state, it's currently in Assembly Appropriations, which is its final stop before it goes to the Assembly floor. Now, it's been put on what they call the suspense file because of potential fiscal implications, but Senator Pavley has been pushing with everything that she has to make sure that it gets out of appropriations and onto the Assembly floor. So, as I mentioned before, at Friday this week is the last day for bills to make it out of appropriations, otherwise they die. So we are doing everything that we can to see those bills make it to the floor and get their vote that they deserve. And I'm going to shorten the rest of this because I'm already talking too long. So the last bill that I'll mention is a bill that Senator Pavley is co-sponsoring. And the reason I'm touching on this is because I think it's important to you folks. This is Senator Allen's SB 888. And what this does is it designates the Governor's Office of Emergency Services as the single point of accountability when these types of situations happen. In addition, the penalties that will come up against SoCal Gas, the financial penalties, it ensures that they would go into what they're calling the Gas Storage Facility Mitigation Account. And these funds would be spent according to the Air Resources Board has put together a plan on how to mitigate the impacts of what has happened here. And that includes local programs. We want to see the money spent here as much of it as possible, and that's what this bill tries to do. And so that bill is also in the Assembly Appropriations. It's also on the suspense file. But I know that Senator Allen is also working very hard for this community, and Senator Pavley is giving a little push too to try and see that bill make it out and get the vote. I'm going to stop there for this evening and try to answer any other questions. Yes?
About SB 380, I thought the rule was that all the wells had to be tested in the field before it could be brought online. Even if it's just a few they want to bring online, all of them have to be tested. Was that changed?
No. There is the final amendment that was put into place before it passed was that they could take some of those ones offline that they didn't need the ones that may take longer for them to pass the test, to pass all the tests, to take them offline, and they would have a year to decide what they were going to do with them. And that they have daily monitoring. There's all sorts of stuff in the legislation to ensure that they're not leaking.
Okay, thank you.
In the back? Is that it? This is the last one.
Real quick,
Two
how
questions,
can we
Jane
help,
and Sue, and then we need to move on. Go ahead.
how can we help Senator Patley's 887 pass? What can we do?
At this point, everything is in the hands of the Appropriations Committee. I wouldn't say bombard them with phone calls because at this point that could actually backfire. I think we just need to wait and see how it's going to come out. They have already made their suggested amendments to see this thing come out, and so we have to wait and see what those look like.
Thank you.
So, but we will need the community's help. Once it gets out of appropriations and goes to the floor, we need to just hit everybody.
You got it.
All right, last question, Sue.
Yes?
I hate to go back to the well, but it brought up something that concerns me, is you are now taking, what was it, 17 wells are okay, and if they start filling in all the reservoir, they're filling in for all the 25 or so that are still not doing it, isn't that going to put a tremendous pressure on those 17 wells, thereby increasing the risk of them breaking down again?
Or the abandoned ones.
Again, I'm not a technical expert on that, but before that facility comes on, it has to have so many wells that are operating, and they're not going to start injecting until that's done. And so I don't know all the specifics to that. That would be for one of maybe Dogger or something. But, yeah, that's just stuff that's beyond me.
All right.
There is lots of stuff that has to do with pressure monitoring that's in SB 380, the bill that passed, and so all that stuff is being covered. But if you have more specific questions, I can try and get answers for you from Dogger. So,
Thank you.
sorry.
Hello, I'm Grace Lee from Assemblyman Scott Wilkes' office. Before I begin, I have 2 certificates for the outgoing board members. I'm not sure if David Balin is here. Yes. And Sue Hammerlin. Member Wilk would like to thank you for all the hard work you guys have put into our committee. On August 1st, Assemblymember Scott Wilk presented AB 1903 in the Senate Appropriations Committee. AB 1903 is the independent scientific study on the long-term health effects of the chemical exposure. AB 1904, which is the study of the odorants currently used in natural gas storage, passed the Senate Environmental Quality Committee and is in the suspense file. And both of these bills didn't receive a vote yet because it's in the suspense file. They will be determined on Thursday whether it's going to be moved onto the Senate floor. The Assemblymen met with the appropriation staff and they're pretty optimistic on both bills coming out of the committee. And to explain the suspense file a little bit, if it's above $150,000 to implement that legislation, it goes into suspense file. Also, the Assembly member is supportive of SB 1304, authored by Senator Huff. SB 1304 provides property tax relief for property owners in the Porter Ranch area affected by the Aliso Canyon gas leak. for which Governor Brown declared a state of emergency on January 6, 2016. It allows the property tax reassessment to include damage from environmental contamination. There's another bill, AB 2820. Assemblyman Wilk is the principal co-author of it, and it's an important measure in addressing the issue of price gauging that occurred during the gas leak. It updates current law to ensure that whether the disaster prompting the declaration of a state of emergency is natural or man-made, familiar or totally unprecedented, consumers across the state will be protected from excessive price increases. Disaster victims should not be victimized twice. This bill is currently on the Senate floor and is eligible to be taken up at any time. I'll take any questions.
On the property tax relief, is that going to be sort of retroactive when the gas was actually leaking, or how is that going to?
I'm not sure because, are you talking about SB 1304?
Yeah.
Yes.
The property tax relief.
He's actually supporting it. Senator Huff authored it, but I will take the question back to our office and get back to you.
I think the worst time to deal with was during the leak and the smell. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nicole Vartanian. I am the district representative for Congressman Steve Knight, who represents the majority of Puerto Rico. I'm going to cut my report down just a little bit, just for the sake of time, you guys. But there's a lot of new faces here, so I wanted to just reiterate something that the congressman had passed earlier this summer, which was his Natural Gas Leak Prevention Act was signed into law as a provision of the Pipes Act on June 22nd. Basically how that bill came about was in March, the congressman had Congressman Denham, who is the chairman of the Railroads, Pipelines, and Hazardous Materials Subcommittee within the House Committee on Transportation Infrastructure, visit the Aliso Canyon facility to understand the enormity of the gas leak and everything that the community was going through. So with that, they came up with the bill, which then got rolled into the Pipes Act from Congresswoman Deb Fisher in Nebraska. The provision basically requires Secretary of Transportation to issue adequate safety standards for the underground natural gas storage facility, such as Aliso Canyon and others throughout the country, to ensure that a tragedy like Aliso Canyon gas leak does not happen again. The statute allows for up to 2 years for the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, acronym is PHMSA, to study and develop the adequate safety standards. The reason for this timeline is to give the agency a realistic amount of time to create a set of standards that will actually work, because the congressman believes that if we do it, we have to do it right, and we should only do it once. So this bill was signed into law, and we'll see something in the next couple of years. More going on in the district specifically. In June, on the 20th, we actually held our military academy send-off for the class of 2020. We actually had, I believe, 1 or 2 applicants from this area, which was awesome. We had over 45 applicants apply for a nomination to the various academies. We ended up getting 18 students offers, and 16 of them accepted the offers to the various academies, and we actually only had 4 open slots, and they saw that we had such a great applicant pool that they allowed us to send more students to the different academies. So that's a really great honor. Great honor. For those of you that have children, nieces, nephews, grandchildren, we will be opening our Service Academy nominations process this fall, starting with a Service Academy Information Day. So if any of you guys have anyone that's interested in attending a Service Academy, which is, they're awesome schools, the Information Day is on September 17th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the College of the Canyons Diane Van Hook University Center. We're going to have representatives from all the different service academies kind of talk about, what is the requirement to be, or the requirement to apply, what does the application process look like, and they usually have some of the cadets that are currently participating and going through the academies talk about their experiences and, why they chose the specific academy that they chose. And we recently just had our small business conference and expo last week on Wednesday, which was a very well-attended event. We had over 85 people there. Topics included adding value to your business, community engagement, small business assistance, defense programs and assistance for small businesses, and working with defense contractors such as Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, and Boeing. One last piece of legislation that I want to mention is HCON Res 142, which passed the House, passed the Senate, and is waiting to be signed by the President. Basically what it is it's a law in support of Los Angeles getting the bid for the 2024 Summer Olympics and pledging the cooperation of Congress in respect to that bid. Is there any questions that I can answer for you guys? Okay, thank you.